In a gathering of bulked individuals, a sinister ritual unfolds. A poor kid named Yukito is about to be thrown into the water. His father, the cult leader dedicated to the god Mitama, envisions Yukito's rebirth as their next leader. Yukito reluctantly agrees to what he sees as murder, but his father perceives it as a sacred ritual. As Yukito is thrown, memories of his troubled past flood his mind, and Yukito earnestly wishes to be reborn in a world without religion. As he opens his eyes, he finds himself in another world. A girl with pink hair named Aruaru offers him refuge and free meals at a restaurant. Yukito realizes that he has crossed into a different realm. Yukito, now in a new world, contemplates his past life and embraces the opportunity for a fresh start. Aruaru introduces him to various job options, and a guy named Roy rushes to Yukito, assuming that Aruaru saved him and declaring that every girl belongs to him. However, another guy named Clint intervenes, introducing himself and putting a stop to Roy's teasing. Clint offers Yukito work and hands him a knife. Unfortunately, it turns out to be cutting berries, not the adventure Yukito expected. After cutting all the berries, they realize there's no space to store them. Everyone enjoys the berries, and Yukito, exhausted from weeks of farming, lies on the ground. Aruaru asks her sister to stop drinking and help, but Sayuro, her big sister, prefers to watch her younger sister work. After weeks of farming, suddenly, a monster appears, and Roy starts reading spells from a book. Yukito, eager to join the battle, is advised by Roy to run away. Both Roy and Yukito survive, but Yukito feels depressed as he didn't get to participate in the battle. Roy is scared for his life, and the book they were using contains advice on staying safe from monsters. Yukito starts to doubt the existence of magic in their world as Aruaru manually treats his wounds. Later, Yukito wins a drinking competition against Roy. Aruaru suggests that Yukito stays with them forever, as they are happy to have him. Yukito agrees, thanking some higher power. Aruaru admits she doesn't know what God is. The next day, Yukito discovers a dead animal in the forest. As he contemplates burying it, he remembers that there is no God in this world. Aruaru and Roy approach him, surprised to see him out early. Roy assumes Yukito is there for hunting, and then he whispers about a forbidden book to Yukito. They decide to go to the capital city to buy the forbidden book. Yukito, who has never seen the city before, is shown around by Roy. They explore the royal building, where they learn about staying safe from monsters and farming. Roy advises Yukito not to talk with people. In the bookstore, Yukito mentions that these books are in a museum in their world, shocking both of them. Exiting the bookstore, they witness people poisoning themselves. Aruaru explains that when the government deems citizens no longer useful, they proudly commit suicide. When Yukito wakes up, he is shocked to find Aruaru in his bed, acting strangely. He realizes he's tied up, and Aruaru apologizes, explaining that it's an isolation camp. She reveals a mark on her back, indicating that those who don't follow the rules are banned, and the government places them in isolation. Yukito mentions that Aruaru is his first friend in the village and offers her a precious stone he's wearing. Meanwhile, Sayuro and others argue, fearing for their lives in the isolation camp. Yukito goes outside and finds Roy on the ground. As he helps him, Roy reveals that city people force and kill them. Yukito continues forward, and Clint approaches, asking him to ride with him. Clint discloses their mission to kill Sayuro and Aruaru with swords. Upon reaching their destination, Clint and Yukito overpower the soldiers. However, the Knight Commander Bertrand kills Yukito with a sword while conversing. Aruaru is also killed. In his final moments, Yukito drags himself to Aruaru, touches the stone, and prays to Mitama. Mitama manifests as a young girl, hugs Yukito, and is surprised by his condition. Filled with rage, Mitama kills all the soldiers, heals Yukito, and revives Aruaru, bringing an unexpected turn of events. With the village saved, Yukito wonders if Mitama is a god. Returning to the village, their arrival surprises everyone, leading to a joyous celebration. Yukito contemplates how to protect this newfound home. Roy notices Yukito's sadness and playfully pours berry juice on his face. Mitama, still in her divine form, approaches Yukito without changing clothes. Aruaru intervenes, questioning the connection between them. Mitama reveals herself as Yukito's god, promising to be with him until death. Aru, saddened by Yukito's apparent preference for smaller girls, helps Mitama with her clothing. Clint and Yukito engage in a conversation about the Empire's building. Suddenly, Mitama playfully hits Yukito's back, surprising everyone. They share a history, having come from the same world. Roy, inebriated, asks Mitama to marry him, but she declines, leading to a disgusted reaction from everyone. They inquire about her powers, and Yukito questions if Mitama can defeat all the soldiers in the country, and she confidently agrees. However, Yukito's thoughts take a dirty turn. Mitama then mentions she will showcase her magic and check her followers, only to find it at 0. Mitama expresses her frustration at lacking followers and emphasizes that a god's strength lies in their followers. Yukito, in a hot spring, worries about Mitama's power. She apologizes and proposes running away, but Yukito refuses, vowing not to run away again, and asks Mitama if she could use her power if she gains followers. Mitama agrees to his proposal. Roy, deeply in love, becomes Mitama's follower. Mitama becomes angry as Yukito doesn't follow her. Roy bets that Mitama will become a god. And her attempt to showcase her godly knowledge fails when she merely lists embarrassing events from Yukito's childhood. This leaves Yukito angry at her. Yukito also tries and reveals everything about Mitama, including her superpowers. Yukito also discusses Alara's feelings and how she truly feels. She is amazed when Yukito uses fortune-telling and magic tricks. Together, they try to convince people that Mitama is a god and should be followed. Despite their efforts, nothing seems to change. Aruaru's pet fox, Chil, ailing from poison, worsens despite Yukito's herbal remedy and dies. Mitama uses her powers to heal Chil, impressing Aruaru and her older sister. With some power returned, Mitama agrees to Alara's request to resurrect the soldiers she murdered, as they were innocent men following orders. A mysterious character named Adder shows up and effortlessly defeats a monster. Meanwhile, Knight Commander Bertrand, attempting to return to the capital, faces obstacles due to a gender swap, leaving her unrecognized and in tears. Yukito intervenes as Roy attempts to flirt with the distressed Bertrand, showcasing his determination to help her. When a monster appears, Mitama's summoned weapon misses the mark, but Bertrand steps up and slays the creature. Yukito takes charge, leading the group. Aruaru promises a reward for followers, motivating Roy to create pots consistently for 3 days. By the end, they gather 107 followers effortlessly. Bertrand experiments with a new outfit and informs Yukito that archons, robotic beings introduced in the earlier scene, pose a significant threat to the village. Yukito challenges Mitama to finish Archon, but she requires 10,000 followers to use her power. Bertrand, in a peculiar dress, misunderstands Yukito's intentions. Yukito questions Bertrand about her unique sword, learning it's an exclusive weapon reserved for the Emperor. A meeting is convened with Clin and Sayuril, focusing on saving the village and the isolation camps surrounding it. Everybody goes inside to drink, and Yukito discusses saving the village with Sayuril. She pets him and advises him not to overthink, triggering memories of his father. Pondering how to deal with the Emperor, Yukito, and Clin lack a plan. Bertrand's odd attire elicits pity from Yukito, but their concerns are interrupted when Adder appears, recognizing Bertrand's personality and attempting to take her away. The Adder checks the village and becomes confused upon observing the farming facility. Yukito strategizes to gain 10,000 followers, envisioning images of Mitama and the tractor. He decides to reward people for following, successfully accumulating 927 followers. During the planning, Aruaru slips while bringing water, leading Yukito to ingeniously create water tanks and sinks. Yukito's idea turns into a water festival outside, with Aruaru playfully revealing her swimming bra. Mitama, exhausted from using her powers, gains more followers as Yukito also introduces electricity, bringing joy to the village. Amid the festivities, Roy's advances towards Aruaru result in a tube light breaking on his head. Clin is amazed by the developments and reveals a supposed mark on his body, only to find it non-existent. Yukito initiates a discussion about the concept of gods, with Bertrand considering the Emperor to be revered as a god. After a significant event, Mitama gains an additional 2,000 followers. The Adder observes water, throws it at Bertrand, and starts asking questions, revealing that the powers in the village were traditionally used by emperors. Mitama intervenes to protect Bertrand, leading to a confrontation between Mitama and Adder. In the ensuing battle, Mitama holds on to Archon's power but ultimately breaks it. Despite Mitama's efforts, a surge of hands overpowers her. Exhausted, Mitama relies on Yukito's belief in her, but the hands betray her, resulting in a massive blast. Clin intervenes to stop Mitama from further harm, and reveals herself as Loki, another Archon. Loki persuades the group to kill the Emperor, leading to a confrontation with Adder. Loki subdues Adder, and they proceed to the Emperor's room, where Adder apologizes for her failure. The king praises both Loki and Adder, and the Emperor, aware of the concept of gods, engages in contemplation. Mitama takes action, destroying the surroundings and revealing an illusion, a fabricated dead body. Loki nonchalantly throws the skeleton aside, and it becomes evident that the Emperor is already dead, manipulated by machinery. Confusion arises, especially for Yukito, as Mitama sheds light on the truth about the Archons. The world, once destroyed, was recreated by survivors using machines. Mitama discloses that it's Earth's future, and when Yukito wished for a world without gods, Mitama fulfilled it. Mitama and Loki discuss their plan to destroy the machines, prompting Yukito to attack Loki. However, Loki is unable to use her powers in this realm. Yukito seeks answers, questioning Loki's motivation to destroy. Loki explains that in the past, people approaching death were emotionless, and in this world, humans simply desire death. Loki goes to the isolation camp, where people find freedom and acquire knowledge about wine. Yukito, accompanied by a god, intervenes, altering the course of events. Loki also acquires knowledge, and when Mitama gains followers, her power increases. Loki decides to liberate people, using illusion to gain followers and increase Mitama's power. Mitama then destroys the fabricated reality. Loki aims to become God herself, and Yukito swears to help Mitama defeat them. Everyone is enjoying themselves as the Emperor is gone, and Loki appears to join in the festivities. Roy touches Loki and enjoys the moment. Loki then transforms his body into that of a bodybuilder, adding a humorous twist to the scene. However, when Loki tries to leave, Bertrand stops him. Loki initially gives back his male body, making Bertrand happy, but then Loki takes his body again. Meanwhile, Adder, confused by the turn of events, receives advice from Yukito to embrace a fresh start. They're on a mission to kill all the Archons, and Adder is chosen to be the one. The next day, Yukito announces Mitama and Adder as gods, boosting their respective followers. Celebrations continue as they successfully defeat a monster. Different villagers express their desire for Yukito to stay, and he agrees. Mitama's followers thrive, and the farming produces prosper. The focus shifts to Dini, an Archon with more followers than Mitama and Adder combined. During a meeting with Aruaru, Soyuril, and Roy, conflicting beliefs arise, causing Yukito's anger. The group embarks on a mission to gather information about Dini, discovering a building named Dini Faith. Inside, they learn that only a man and woman can meet Dini. As Dini appears, Yukito requests a favor to join Dini's group. Dini performs magic, causing Yukito's heart to ache. Suddenly, Aruaru starts to open her clothes, but Yukito stops her. A girl named Rish intervenes, but Yukito's masculine energy causes her to fall in love with him. The city lies in ruins with no leadership in sight. Loki takes it upon herself to declare herself the god. Dini compiles a follower list, making Roy one of his followers. Rish and Aruaru bond over their shared love for forbidden books, and Rish expresses a desire for freedom, aiming to destroy the cult. Yukito lacks trust, and Mitama's followers start to decrease. Meanwhile, villagers capture a giant monster, and Adder steps in to defeat it. Rish becomes a member of the group, but Yukito remains skeptical about Dini. Dini, known for constantly traveling, puts a strain on Mitama's power as her followers decrease whenever a god is replaced. Dini gains followers, but their power remains limited. Rish's attempt to please Dini with pleasurable toys backfires, leading to Dini's anger and suspicions of betrayal. Dini decides to arrest Mitama, Yukito, Aruaru, and Rish. The group faces hostility from everyone. Rish apologizes, framing it as a drama, and everyone becomes emotional, offering support to Rish. Yukito then plans to deal with Dini, while Rish continues her acting. Dini decides to put them in jail and contemplates killing Rish. The tension escalates as bodyguards open the jail cell, intending to harm them. In the past, Dini was created artificially, and her mission was to produce babies with humans. The Emperor denies wanting to remove the ability to love from humans. Dini approaches children and performs some magic, making real humans heartless. She starts selling her products, and when real humans read her book, nobody understands the feeling. Toka, a child without parents, is taken by Dini and, along with some others, is sent to an isolation camp, where Toka meets a tragic end. Dini envisions redeveloping the love system to recover the world. Back in present, bodyguards attempt to kill the Yukito's group, but Adder intervenes, gaining more followers by defeating the guards. The group decides to confront Dini, and Adder launches an attack. In the confrontation, Adder shatters Dini's phone, revealing her manipulation of emotions through her products. Dini retaliates by attacking Adder, marking everyone present. Mitama strikes back, gaining immense support from the group. Dakini's followers start to decline. In a desperate attempt, Mitama pleads for followers to make her a god, but Dakini continues to resist. Adder intervenes again, breaking the cycle of attacks. Roy, influenced by Yukito's note, hugs Dakini, turning the tide of the battle. Adder resumes her attack, leading to a surprising emotional response from Dakini. She reveals that Toka was Rish's mom, who wanted to have a baby and stay with her. Yukito seeks to uncover a secret from Dakini, who refuses to share. Taking matters into his own hands, Yukito imprisons Dakini in a cage. Rish, after meeting with Dakini, decides to change the world once wished by her mother. Rish brings Roy to act as Yukito, hoping to convince Dakini to work with them. The group resorts to beating Yukito in an attempt to persuade Dakini. A monster attacks, prompting Mitama to showcase her followers, but Adder swiftly kills it. Multiple monsters appear, and Adder's power proves ineffective. Mitama steps in to shield the group, saving them as the village faces destruction. Yukito urges Mitama to restore the village, and after much insistence, she eventually agrees. During the chaos, a mysterious girl named Gaia is attacked, and Roy runs alongside her. Adder intervenes, eliminating the monsters, but a surprising turn of events unfolds as Gaia kisses Adder. She reveals that the village was destroyed by a formidable beast, and only Gaia has the power to defeat it. Yukito attempts to attack Gaia, but she pleads for their help to stop Loki. The Emperor's colossal building looms in the distance. Gaia sends a small bird as a messenger, only for it to be destroyed. Bertrand intervenes to stop them, revealing that Loki, unable to die, has assumed the role of Emperor and made her a bodyguard. The group returns. Later, Yukito takes on the role of a producer, encouraging the group to play musical instruments. The vibrations soar as Bertrand plays the guitar, and they spontaneously form a music band. Mitama experiences a sudden surge in power, although her followers remain the same. Bertrand, feeling useless, breaks down. Yukito consoles her. Meanwhile, Gaia drives a car. When a beast threatens a girl, Gaia intervenes, earning the children's trust. Inside a house, the kids refer to Gaia as their mother, discussing the village. Yukito praises Gaia, boosting her ego. Bertrand attacks Yukito and ties him up. Dakini uses her magic on Bertrand, leaving him confused. Dakini enjoys the situation and the ensuing music. Dakini wants to have fun with the kids, and they start playing with her. She tries to attract the kids to her. Yukito, concerned about the children, strives to save them. Reflecting on his past, a beast appears, and Dakini attempts to protect the kids. They start fleeing from a relentless monster. In a flashback, it is revealed that in this world, children are created and given to couple. One little girl named Cyan, living happily, witnesses a heartbreaking moment when soldiers choose to end their lives while eating. Backed up scent, the monster attacks their vehicle, endangering Cyan's life. Saving Cyan from the monster's grasp, Yukito and the group approach them, initiating introductions. Suddenly, an earthquake shakes the ground, revealing a colossal creature emerging from underground. In a tense moment, the two children, filled with fear, cling to Gaia, who uses magic to drag them underground. Mitama and others engage the monster in a battle, covering themselves for protection. Aruaru with car appears, and the group boards it. The child reveals that his mom created the monster. Yukito saves the kids, but in the process, he falls down, and the monster kills him. Mitama also jumps in, and the monster devours both of them. Everyone grieves for their loss. When Yukito opens his eyes, he notices Kaya, and she kisses him. Meanwhile, everyone instilling hope in their hearts. Determined to rescue the lost ones, they plan their next move. As emotions run high, Kaya compares Yukito to her mother, prompting him to admit that he lied about certain aspects. The group plays music for Mitama, amplifying both Adder and Mitama's powers. Together, they tear into the monstrous threat, and Dakini joins in to battle the creature. Mitama reveals that she could overpower Gaia if Yukito becomes her follower, a proposition he agrees to. In the second part of the plan, everyone rallies to motivate Adder. She successfully convinces them to become Mitama's followers. Meanwhile, Mitama and Gaia engage in a fierce battle. As Yukito's body regenerates, he holds Gaia, allowing Mitama to strike her, successfully defeating Gaia, bringing relief and joy to everyone. Aruaru is moved to tears. Gaia starts liking Mitama. Loki makes a surprising appearance, lending followers to Mitama for the upcoming battle. In the end, Yukito reflects on the past and contemplates that the world may not need any gods.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this. If you have any suggestions or questions, feel free to leave a comment below. Until next time, take care.